Morning, guys. There's a bit of renovating going on in the background, so if you hear a few hammers, don't worry about that. 100 watching already. Jeez, everyone's sitting at the screen watching this price action. So let's zoom in to the 1 minute. This is probably the only time I'd use the 1 minute. But we are well below 4,000 on Coinbase and the non-tether exchanges, and we've just flushed below there on the tether exchanges. Now we had it's an okay bounce, but there wasn't as much volume as we would have liked. So waiting to see if we can get another bounce or if we're going to have one more leg lower. But we need a candle bigger than that, and we need volume more than that to give us the sign that the bottom's in. Smash that thumbs up, guys, if you're tuning in and excited to watch the bottom unfold, hopefully. A bit of price action coming in now. What's caused this is 3K incoming. Ooh, look, all the big trading groups I'm in, and I'll take these out, sorry guys, full attention. Yeah, all the big trading groups I'm in have made it pretty clear that anywhere between 4,000 and 3,000, I've got a lot of orders laddered and so on. So we know that there is going to be some form of support, on the way down when we fall from under 6K and then from here to here. There's not a lot of people sort of stepping in, or everyone's sort of waiting to see. But the levels right now, there is certainly a significant percentage of people that believe the bottom is somewhere between 4 and 3.5. And then we have the people saying, yeah, we're definitely going to 3, and those sort of more outlandish calls of $1,000. And that's kind of where we get a bell distribution curve of everyone's got their guess at the bottom and no one really knows. But we do know that there are people that are seeing this as good value for Bitcoin. And one thing I'll just show you is the ETH Bitcoin pair. Now, in the past, this has marked bottoms or the beginning of what we call alt season, where altcoins really outperform. So this is pretty significant, to be honest, the fact that everything else is just kind of going sideways, and we've got huge volume come in on the ETH BTC pair. Good volume, 15 minute, biggest volume we've seen on the hourly for a while. Let's zoom out to the daily. So we've got plenty of time left in this candle, another 2.5 hours to get the volume up here. But yeah, good signs showing up on the ETH Bitcoin pair. And that's where that volume marked the alt season last year. Yeah, guys, if you are just tuning in, there's a few renovations happening in the background, so don't mind that. Okay. What's going on in the comment section this morning, guys? I haven't even had my morning coffee yet, so sorry if I'm not buzzing. Yeah, I do love doing these live streams. How's New South Wales? The Sydney meetup was fantastic. We had a couple of hundred people there, which for this sort of market, it was pretty amazing. We were pretty happy in the middle of a bear market when prices are crashing. Have hundreds of people showing up to meetups that are so enthusiastic about the future of crypto. That's really, really positive. Wow, nearly 300 watching, guys. Could we get the likes above 39 with 300 people watching? And there is a little bit of renovating happening in the background, if you can hear a little bit of hammering and talking. So we are doing a few little changes to our spare room because the baby is due in a couple of months, in February. So what charts do I have open on days like this? Well, on the screen, I'll be watching the 5 minute or the 1 minute when we're crashing really hard to get a really granular, perspective. Then on my laptop, I've probably got my trading station open where I'm hoping to get in a few trades on Bitfinex. One coin that I'm really liking to trade at the moment is IOTA. Where are we? So IOTA's already down 12% today, but as Bitcoin's sort of made these lows over the same sort of time frame, IOTA's held up okay here. And there's watching the order book rolling on Bitfinex, you're just getting the feel that there's some big traders out there that want to get positions in this coin long term. IOTA put out the news that they're looking to remove those coordinated nodes, which is basically makes the tangle very, very centralized at the moment. And if they can remove those, then it's a huge step forward for IOTA. So that research sounds like it's progressing well. Wow, ETH's down around $100. Who would have thought? And guys, I'm not going to lie, this bear market has gone longer and lower than I would have thought was possible with the amount of awareness we have about the space now. You know, particularly for the good projects. I always thought that 99.9% of altcoins were going to, you know, die and go to zero. But if you had said that the good projects that are making really good progress were going to fall 95%, the same as the bad ones, you know, I just did not think that was going to happen. So yeah, I've certainly been wrong on that front. It doesn't mean that it'll last forever. At some point, the true value in those coins that have real utility gets recognized. So even something like Binance, one of the biggest exchanges in the world, you know, that coin's down under $5 now. And if you've been dollar cost averaging, that's one of my favorites. For when this market recovers, I think that's going to perform extremely well. Okay, so we've just made a new low, waiting to see the volume that comes in on these 1 minute candles to see how many buyers are stepping in every time we go down to the next low. And then we see we've touched 3,900, a level that a lot of traders were talking about setting their orders and so on. So I'll jump into the chat. Like that video, guys. Thank you. 2 people don't like the renovating next door. Oh, 2 thumbs down. What's cracking? Well, I'm pretty sore. Played cricket yesterday. Batted for a couple of hours and on a pretty dicey wicket. We got bowled out for 60. And the other team got the run 7 down. So I'm really enjoying playing cricket again this year. I've captained the last few years, and with work this year and everything going on, it's been extremely busy. I wasn't sure if I was going to play, but we've got a really good group of young kids coming through, you know, 14, 15, 17-year-olds, and that gives the team a bit of fresh life. So I'm enjoying it again. I'm one of the old fuddy-duddies now at the age of 30 in the team, and we had a good bus trip yesterday. So yeah, loving cricket, and that is my outlet, guys. It's very important to have your outlet as well in this stressful world that we operate in of crypto. So someone's saying, if crypto mining gets too expensive, that leads to 51% attack. Well, the number of rigs that are mining Bitcoin doesn't go, isn't a direct correlation with price. So yes, as price goes down, there's a few miners that are no longer profitable and they'll go offline. But it doesn't mean that an attacker is going to go out and buy, thousands of ASIC mining rigs and get up to 51% of the hash rate to attack Bitcoin. I'm not worried about that sort of thing happening. Personally, I love the renovations happening in the background. Yeah. My wife Gemma is obsessed with renovating and house shows. Yes, we were bowled out for 60 yesterday. It was a very, very dicey wicket, and they had some very good bowlers. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, cricket is a game in Australia that's a bit like, the way you can describe it is baseball with only 2 bases instead of 4. And if you hit it and you run, you get to basically keep batting until you get out. So in theory, good batters make 50, 100, 200 runs and can bat for hours at a time. So it doesn't make sense to a lot of Americans, but it's a fun fun sport. We love it, and it's coming up to the Big Bash season, which is one of the most watched, or maybe even the most watched sporting sort of event that runs over a month, rather than just a one big Super Bowl event or one big soccer game. So the actual number of viewers that tune in throughout India and Asia is just insane to watch the shorter form of cricket, which is a lot more like baseball with a lot more big hitting and so on. So we've just had another leg down. Where are we down to now? 3,865. And what am I looking for to think that the bottom's coming in? Well, I'm actually looking for a candle that gets a pretty decent move, 5% or more, but up through these moving averages. Even on the 1 minute, these have just acted as significant resistance. And every time the averages catch up, we have another leg down. The same on the 5 minute there, even up all the way up to the 4 hour. Really, you can just keep zooming out and just seeing these moving averages, and whether that's algorithms or traders or a mixture of both. We're in a bear market, and every time it catches up and touches, that's been a pretty good trade to the downside if you've been shorting. But a lot of people are now starting to cover their shorts. People that have made great money, and guys, they're not bullies of the market. They're going to put that money back into coins and Bitcoin altcoins at these levels. So on the 4 hour now, we're seeing a little bit of divergence. A slightly upwards trending line here, while prices are still very much downtrending. So this is the first sign, or one of the signs, that the bears and the sellers are running out of steam. They're running out of momentum. The selling is becoming less violent, I guess you can think of it as. The strength is trending up, even though price is trending down. And I've done detailed videos on RSI, MACD, candles, how to read candles. They're all videos that we did back in the early days, guys. I think we've done well over 300, getting up towards 400 maybe videos now. Still no signs the bottom's in yet, guys, but I think we're going to see it in the next half an hour to an hour. Whales can certainly push the market around more than maybe during the week. Yeah, when I'm not sure what time it is. I think it's afternoon in the US and nighttime in Europe. But over the weekend, maybe there's less people paying attention as people get out, enjoy their weekend. So yeah, we have seen, particularly in Australia on Sundays, as it's Sunday 9:30 in the morning on Sunday here in Australia, and this is when we tend to see big events happen and the market be pushed around. You're very quiet. I'll speak up a bit louder. I think I have turned my microphone down a little bit so it picks up less of that background noise, guys. But I need to finish my coffee as well. Someone's saying they're done and they've sold. I'm not sure if that's been serious or not. Still Thanksgiving in the US. Traders are still eating their turkey, apparently. Okay. Yeah, 400 watching. Thanks, guys. Thanks to those that are smashing that like button. We're up to 100 likes out of 400 people. Pretty good effort. Thank you. 40 minutes since the last block on Bitcoin. Okay. Interesting. Let's go to coin.dance. Now, why would that be? So why would it be 40 minutes since the last block? Well, maybe there are a large number of people going offline because it is just not profitable for them to mine at this level. And a lot of people say, does that mean it's the bottom and whatnot? No, not necessarily. There's always a new equilibrium formed. I love going through all this data and seeing, the different countries, particularly, Venezuela, where the number of addresses, the volume, and all that sort of stuff is at all-time highs. Okay, so we did have a block 58 minutes ago, and then another block 2 minutes later, and then another block 7 minutes later, and then another block 6 minutes later. So even though there hasn't been a block for 43 minutes, even if they find one now, we've still had 5 blocks, in half an hour, in 40, 50 minutes. So the average is still every 10 minutes. So that's normal. It's statistically normal at this stage, guys. It's actually probably more of an outlier that we had a block 2 minutes apart and then another block 6 minutes apart, even 7 minutes. So 10 minutes is meant to be that average. So thanks for that, though. That is a fantastic point. And as Max is saying there, yes, 40-minute blocks aren't that uncommon. Glenn's saying he lives in New Zealand, but can't buy Bitcoin. I'm sure that I've got New Zealand followers that have accounts with Coinbase or, guys, there's plenty of exchanges out there, or even just over the counter now. You can ring up Caleb and Brown, who's in the background there, guys. If you're in New Zealand, you can just ring them up over the phone, and they'll, ask you to send a photo of your license and yourself and have crypto to your wallet within an hour, or if it's within 5 minutes once you've done it before, guys. I really do love their service and their education. If you're not really sure what you're doing, they'll talk you through it all on the phone. There's a plug for you, sorry. Man, we've seen some people say, throw in the towel, the crypto's dead, this is too hard, I didn't sign up for this. Twitter has had a lot of salty people going at each other. There's the drill next door, guys. Do your own research. Yeah. Guys, you should have a mix of people that you trust. So, if one person says something, even if it's me, if I like a project, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like it. And, some of my good friends they own 10 coins, and, their friends own 10 coins, completely different, and there's no overlap to each other. And in the next bull run, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not both going to be right and both make good money, but you've got to invest in industries and projects that interest you, not just what someone said on YouTube. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Where are we all tuning in from? And what time is it where you are? Where is it? It's always the middle of the night somewhere. I feel like it's, those northern European countries maybe, where it's, 3 a.m, and someone's always unlucky when these events happen in terms of missing out, and you wake up the next morning and it's been the big flush, and you didn't get your orders filled, or you've just missed out. No matter what time you go to bed, it seems like it happens when you're asleep. The drill is drilling Bitcoin into the ground. Yeah. Never use a single indicator or single time frame. That's great advice. And one other thing I do want to show you guys is our cycle brackets. And as someone just pointed out, this is not the be all and end all, but these cycle brackets have helped us mark significant turning points in the past where we do get flows of money, big sell-offs, and that almost marks it to the day or within a day to give us a good guide of when we're going to get significant movements. And I've had these on the charts, guys, for at least since 2016. So let's just gently move these down. There we go. And come back across. I'm having to move the cycle brackets down because prices have gone too far down. That's the story. But yeah, anyway, so the date that we've had on this, whether they become self-fulfilling prophecies, or people say this is probably a good time to teach you guys how these work, because it's a question I get so so many times. So it's not an indicator or a template or anything. It's actually over here in your tools and in patterns and their time cycles. And you click on those, and no matter what coin you're on, you're trying to identify patterns on the charts where there's cycles, and there can be bigger cycles within smaller cycles as well. So there might be, and we don't know exactly what they are. So what does that mean? So people might get paid on the same day every month and put a bit into crypto, or majority of people might get paid on a certain day every week, or we might have, one thing I've spoken about a lot is big trading volume on a Friday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday tends to be significant, where we have turning events such as big sell-offs or big buys. So whether these, the dips or the boosts up, I talk about this is when we can have capitulation, or it can be a sign that new money is going to flow into the upside as well. And here we are having this capitulation to the day. So this is again something that's very interesting. So along with that, with the RSI at fairly low levels, and yes, it matters slightly less in a bear market. It's still relevant. We can still look at it for divergence, such as we just highlighted on the 4-hour chart. MACD is getting extended, the histogram to the downside. All these videos I've done, guys. These are all your tools that you formulate along with your opinion. What is sentiment doing at the moment? Sentiment is pretty damn ordinary. People have been beat up. This has been one of, if not the hardest market. So in 2014 and 15, it was pretty brutal when people would make fun of you for investing in Bitcoin, and it was down 90% from $1,300 back down to $160. And I certainly bought more on the way up. I was pretty excited when Bitcoin started to take off. After investing in Bitcoin under $100 and it starts to take off, I wanted to buy more, and I bought more at $700 and $800, and then it went down to $160. So those coins that I bought at high prices were down 70 or 80%, and they stayed there for 2 years. So that was painful. But good things come to those who wait. Why should everyone be rewarded? Why should everyone that buys crypto make money and get rich? Investing's not that easy. It tests you out, and it shakes out the weak hands. This is all just part of a cycle, and I'm a big believer we're going to have at least 2 more of these super cycles where people will get excited about Bitcoin, then they go down the rabbit hole and find out about altcoins. And it's the good projects that actually survive and are putting out headlines that will run the hardest when we have the next alt season, so to speak. Okay, so a little bounce happening now. Not overly convincing still. We have to prove ourselves at these averages. And what we'd probably like to see is a touch, a test, a little pullback to form a higher low here, and then a big burst through, that 5% candle, and that would give me, a lot of confidence that we're at least forming. And when I say a bottom, we have to obviously see how that performs in the coming hours and days, but at least a few strong days. If we get a good bottom and it follows through well with good volume in the next few hours, that can mean we're at least going to get alt season or a good bounce for days or maybe even weeks. And then that we don't know what news headlines are going to come out, that news and TA, it all mixes in together. And if the ETF got denied, then we'd have to say it. All right, are we going to look down and look for new lows? So it all mixes in together. TA people tell you that news doesn't matter. News people tell you that TA doesn't work. But guys, the fact is, if there's someone staring at a screen and trading based on one or the other, then it has some sort of importance. So that's why I try to do a mix of both. That's why I try to learn a little bit of all TA. The only TA that I haven't really ever taken time to study is Tone Vase and their TD sequential, where they're looking for, I don't even really understand how it works. They're looking for nine candle patterns for significant turning events and whatnot. But everyone's got their method. find one that works for you. Nearly 500 watching. Awesome. I love it, guys. Thank you. And thanks to everyone that's smashing that like button or sharing this. So how are we going for a spike here? Let's have a look at Coinbase. And Coinbase doesn't have the volume it used to have, guys, when it was getting 100,000 new retail traders, a day or whatever that crazy figure was in the middle of the mania. So here we are. We've touched the moving averages. Now we want to pull back and form this high low, and then we're looking for a big burst through. And that's the first event that will give us confidence, along with some better volume. So this volume here, not the bulls aren't convincing the bears that have had some big selling pressure here, that they're showing up and they're going to change the direction. So, and I did get a fill at IOTA, guys, in this this downturn here. The first downturn, I had an order sitting at 28 cents. So IOTA's holding up fairly well if you look at this. It did get down a little bit lower, but again, it's hit its 50 period moving average and now having its pullback. But see some of these altcoins, some of our favorites for trading, big wicks coming in there. The buyers want this. The buyers, I'll be honest, I bought a lot of them ECGO at $6 because I thought that good projects weren't going to go down more than 75 to 80%. But here we are down 95%, and people are going to want to buy these for the long term. So we can go down the list of all of your favorites, but altcoins are making high lows compared to Bitcoin here. This is looking pretty good now. Neo was $200, now $7. Ripple is one of those coins that I actually think is probably going to perform well price-wise. Love it or hate it, there's so many people out there that just absolutely love these coins. I actually think Stellar Lumens is going to outperform Ripple though, and get a lot of those banking partnerships and those sort of relationships that a lot of the Ripple holders are believers in. ETH not looking so strong just yet. Litecoin's absolutely taking a beating. Bitcoin Cash and ABC, it's just, no comment. I've beat that horse to death, guys. Alright, so here's our high low. If we do get some good bull volume here, I might make another trade, or I might add to my position on the breakout. So 3 thumbs down now, guys. If you don't like something I'm saying, let me know in the comments. We always want to get better, or some people are just we have 1 or 2 people that I think dislike every video as soon as it's uploaded. You're always going to have some percentage of people you can't win over. Alright, so if you're just tuning in now, this is how I like to have my setup, where I have my phone, I have that on maybe the 1 minute time frame if I need, so then I can flick through other time frames on my main chart that you guys are looking at. I've got my laptop down here, logged into my trading stations on BitMEX or Bitfinex, and I've got my plan. So one thing I spoke about the other night in our premium group, where we have our Slack channel and our private Facebook group where we talk about crypto 24/7. One thing I spoke about the other night was have a plan. So know what size orders, have them ready, so you can just press click. And if you need to do a market buy, so it just gets filled. When you see the bottoms in, on Bitfinex, that means that you're paying, I think, 0.2% instead of 0.1% for an order. So if I have to pay slightly extra, I don't want to miss out and wait for my order to get filled, because yes, I'm paying 0.1% extra, but what happens if you miss out on, a 3% bounce by the time that order gets into market and gets filled? So that's the way I look at all this with my trading. I've got my plan. I know what I want to see for a bottom to be formed, and now we're just waiting. I'll be logged into my favorite trading groups, watching my favorite traders on Twitter, everything leading into it, waiting for the signs that the bottom is going to form. So this isn't too bad here. Now, yes, this is only a 1 minute chart, but that's declining bear volume compared to some of the bigger selling that we have seen in the past. But we still need the bulls to step in here and convince the market that this isn't just another case of the moving averages catching up, and we're about to roll over and get another flush down. So that's what we're watching for now. 200 likes, thanks guys. And the renovating has stopped for the time being. Good morning, all, wherever you are. Where do we go from here? Well, we're looking for a temporary bottom, whether that's the bottom for the entire year or just a relief rally. It's been so painful the past few weeks and the past few days. Bitcoin's down 40% just in a few days. So whenever things get this painful, it tends to have at least a relief rally. So Jack's saying using words like cheap, bargains, without any metrics to value the project is madness. Yeah. Guys, you've got to have conviction. You've got to understand the projects you're invested in. And if their coin or token has no utility, then there's no support. There's no lower support for the price other than speculators. A bottom will not form. Why is that? Why wouldn't we form a bottom? We've been in a bear market for 11 months and we're down 80%, and Bitcoin tends to have corrections between 70 to 90%. What time is it where a lot of you guys are tuning in from overseas? So let's have a flick through some other charts on some other time frames, and as we do that, let's have a look at the Bitcoin bounce that hasn't been that great so far, but we can keep going down our list. Something like Binance Coin, wow, that's looking really, really strong. Funfair, there's not a lot of trading volume on Bitfinex, but man, under 0.5% there. Cardano got to what, $1.10, $1.30, something like that. Now it's down to 3 cents, so that's down 97% from its all-time highs. And I'm looking forward to them releasing their mainnet, computational layer of the mainnet. But at the moment, unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot of utility. So as we just said, it doesn't have a lot to fall back on. But you could say that about so many projects. NEM is one that's interesting. It's actually recovered a little bit from all that horrific news, but still down 97%. 0x Power Ledge has been doing well lately. Walton Chain, I would have thought that maybe would have had a stronger bounce. So Wabi got to 12 cents weeks and weeks ago and hasn't made a new low, so that's significant. Nexus is another one that's down, 97 or 98%. Nano is one that tends to get pushed a lot by a few of the big YouTube channels. It was $3 only a few weeks ago, and now it's back down under $1. ICX, man, oh man, this is one that's down like 99%. Oh, sorry, that's an old VChain chart. Basic attention token. Monero, I would have thought this one's definitely going to have a lot of use case when the market recovers. Privacy coins are going to have their use case. PIVX, Qtum, Lisk. So some of the larger cap coins is the top 20 that have had probably more significant bounces, but at the moment this isn't looking that flash. It's looking like it wants to roll over and have another leg down. Genesis Vision, I have heard of Genesis Vision, holding its Sats value really well. Guys, I really am not a fan of trading against Bitcoin. Some people say, it's holding its Sat value really well, but that means it's still going down in price. If Bitcoin's fallen 10% today, it means it's gone down 10% in price and market cap. So it doesn't tell me a lot just because on a chart, its price in Bitcoin has stayed sideways, if that makes sense. So if you're trading to build up the amount of Bitcoin you own, that's probably more useful in a bull market. But let's say over the last 11 months, if you'd been trading charts against Bitcoin and you're making some trades and you're accumulating Bitcoin and Sats, but you're still losing money, Now, unless that was your plan to accumulate Bitcoin for the long term, who wants to trade to lose money, to decrease their total, worth or account holdings? Even on this dump, high frequency trading bots do not trade at full speed. Not enough volume. I think different exchanges have different trading bots. So yeah, there's probably a lot of bots that are plugged in through APIs into Bitfinex and Binance. Probably less so into Coinbase. Definitely BitMEX. Man, oh man, that scary trading on there with some of the wicks. You might think that. Let's go to BitMEX right now and see what I'm talking about. So BitMEX, if you have a look at something like Ethereum, the price might have only gone down to $109 on other exchanges, but they can just have these wicks that go down to like $90 and wipe you out. And sometimes after they clean the wicks up on the charts thereafter. So let's see if we've got any big wicks on other time frames. And this is traded against Bitcoin as well. So no huge wicks there. But man, I can't. It's actually scary that BitMEX has the majority of volume. If we have a look over here, guys, markets, the most volume comes from an exchange that, it is a derivatives exchange, and that is just insane. 10 times bigger than Binance and Bitfinex is people trading on 10, 20, 100 leverage. That is really, really scary, and I don't think that they're going to maintain that. I think in a bull market, as we get more exchanges and more money coming through other means, I just don't think you can have that as your main source. Look what happened when it went offline the other day. Crazy to think. Okay, new lows. Here we go. Is this the final flush? The lower the better, guys. As I've said before, I just want to rip this band-aid off and be done with it. So the moving averages got rejected. We retested it, and we're just not able to get through there. Now this is cooling off. If this sort of more sideways it goes rather than pushing it straight down, the better the chances are that we can burst through it. 510 watching, tuning in to see if we can get a bottom, and listen to the baby's room get renovated in the background. I still haven't finished my coffee. What's the time? How long have we been streaming for, guys? About over half an hour now. Well done. This is a long one, but everyone wants to know. William's saying the wicks on BitMEX don't wipe you out because they use fair price marking index for liquidation. Is that true? Okay, that's very interesting. So I don't understand how that can work though, because if I've got an order that's sitting at $90 and we get a wick down there, that order has to be filled. So there has to be someone on the other side of that trade. Although because they are derivatives, you're not trading against someone else whose order is getting filled. Okay, so that's really interesting. That's good to know. Thank you, William. So what he's saying is that if we do get a wick down that below your wick liquidation price, they don't actually liquidate you unless the market value, the average value on other exchanges got down that low. So trading and the price and the orders on Bitfinex is one price, but the actual liquidations they use for your contracts and your positions is another price. But again, I want to look into that more, because if they're liquidating absolutely huge positions, and we see those BitMEX wrecked Twitter accounts and so on, when they're liquidating those huge positions, there has to be someone on the other side of that, and it has to be picked up by the liquidity and the volume on the exchange somewhere. So it would all have to happen in the background rather than on the exchange for that to happen. So if anyone else has any information about that, that's very interesting, and I have been planning on doing a whole video about BitMEX because it's very dangerous, and I'd rather teach people how to use it exactly than speculating. Check my Twitter account, mate. I've got a hostage knocking for help. Shout out to the chart guys. Yeah, absolutely love Dan and the work that those guys do. Department of Justice investigating Tether. I mean, man, we've seen that headline come out on and off every year for 4 years now. I'll check my Twitter account. What are people telling me to check Twitter for? Anything in particular, guys? I don't think there's any breaking news. If there's any breaking news, this is the sort of crap that really gets under my skin. You know, I was getting trolled on Twitter the other night by Australian investing celebrities about, you know, told you the bubbles popped, you were wrong, and these guys, these old fuddy-duddies, having the last laugh about Bitcoin. Man, oh man. Are we going to have the last laugh during the next bull market? And just, you know, write it down, make a note of it. You don't have to say I told you so in the future, but you can just send them a friendly tweet saying, hey, remember when you kicked me when I was down, or you said the bubble had popped? That turned out to be one of the best times to buy. You know, that's the sort of thing where you can win more people over. So guys, if there's any articles or people telling me to check Twitter, I can't see any significant news. So post them in the chat if there's something that I'm missing. This selling's getting less and less though. Look at the first big leg down, and then we had that sort of dead cat bounce, but it's just we're not really getting absolutely hammered now. And if we zoom out, decent volume there. Okay, how long have we got left? Another hour left in this candle. If we go lower here, this candle is likely going to finish up with the highest volume candle. And on the daily chart, we've got an hour left, and we are looking for this to be our final capitulation day, as the cycle brackets have shown us here, guys. This is what we're looking for as the turning point, November 24. Come on, we really want to get back up and test this average and just blow through this time, guys. Come on. Check the Nuggets news Twitter. That's Ben is signed into that. I don't get the notifications for that one. Sorry. So how's my trade going? I have been filled at 28 cents on IOTA, and I do want to add to this position. Whether it goes lower, I want to add to it and get my costs down while we're looking for a bounce. Or if it breaks out, I want to add to it, because I think this could be, a temporary, if not the bottom. How's everyone's weekend been anyway? What are your thoughts on major Australian news channels kicking Bitcoin while it's down? Synchronized attack. Oh, man. How often have we seen this, guys? We get to key levels on the charts, we get to key dates or times, and we get, 6 different news stations publish an article at once. Jamie Dimon's, Warren Buffett's, guys, just ignore that. It's absolute nonsense. These are like people bashing the internet and making fun of the internet in the early days. Heads up, the world's Bitcoin-friendly shopping app, BitPlaza, just launched on iTunes and Google Play. Anyone can now spend Bitcoin on everyday items. See, all these good news articles that should be in the headlines, people are just ignore, and they don't move the market like they would in a bull run, because you're probably sick of hearing me say this, that at the end of the day, TA, fundamentals, news, we read it and we acknowledge it, but sentiment is what drives markets. And at the moment, we're in a bear market for sentiment, and sentiment is horrible. So the trend is down, sentiment is down. Who's knocking? Jim, if you've just joined, there's some renovations going on in the background. Our baby is due end of February, first week of March. And we need to make a few changes to our spare room that isn't quite finished in our house. Another $400 US drop could easily happen. That would put us right in the mid threes, so about 3.5, certainly on the cards. And there's a lot of orders stacked between here and there. Some of the big boys at Mission Control and the whales, they're going to have their orders filled at those levels. They've been very, very patient on the way down. And that's not Bitcoin getting drilled in the background, guys, as someone just said. Do I still use Steemit? Yeah, I post to Steemit. It's funny, I post to Steemit and Reddit, everything I post to YouTube and whatnot, and there's less people on them, there's more trolls on Reddit. You can post the best article or the most helpful educational video and it will get 0 thumbs up. So it's funny, certain things get attention on Reddit and Steemit, but the majority of the time it's just noise there. Not a lot of people that are active on there, but always got the links to all our social medias in the description of all these videos, guys. Supercars in Newcastle today. Okay. Ripple is up against Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, if they get those banking partners, guys, and if they actually get people using XRP, it's going to go up in price. So it depends on whether or not you think it's going to have that use case. Top alts I'm looking at. So what coins do I think are going to bounce the most? It's the coins that are good quality projects, probably in the top 100, certainly in the top 20. If there's coins in the top 20 that are down 99 to 97% that we've spoken about, the chances are that they are going to bounce the most. They've got big communities. You look at the number of people talking about them on Twitter, Reddit, in the Facebook groups. All those people are going to rush back in and want to average down. How'd cricket go yesterday? I spoke about that at the start of the live stream, guys. Unfortunately, we lost. The body is getting a little bit sore these days. Cairns has a huge crypto community. Yep, we want to come up and launch Cairns, similar to how we launched Brisbane Airport with all the shops accepting crypto. And we've got some big tourist attractions in Tasmania that we're going to sign up to accept Bitcoin, and hopefully Binance Coin, and get CZ and the Binance guys behind this and help promoting crypto in Australia. And I've actually got another, for those of you that are tuning in, 550 loyal followers, a really big announcement that's coming out this week. Some changes for, how do I put this? It's going to be good for adoption in Australia and for working with government, tax agencies, authorities. Because at the moment, the big community in crypto is very disjointed from the guidelines and the white collar side of things. Alrighty, someone's saying they posted me something relevant on Twitter. I actually have notifications turned off. Can you post the link in the chat here for me? Or hashtag Nuggets News, because I've got notifications turned off, guys. I get too many notifications otherwise. Or let me know your Twitter name. That's probably easiest, and I'll go and check your page, because apparently you're saying this is a good talking point. So let's check it out. Stair step higher here, guys, on the 1 minute chart. Some okay volume coming in. We we probably want to see this get bigger here. Otherwise, it can just roll over if we have the declining bull volume. We want some big bars on the 1 minute the size of these sell-off bars to convince us the bottom's in. Otherwise, we just keep hitting these averages and rolling over. The difficulty of Bitcoin adjusts, is that today? I thought it was another few days. So roughly every 2 weeks, 10 days to 2 weeks, the difficulty does adjust. Where's other statistics? Not there. Okay, let's have a look at Bitcoin difficulty. So because the hash rate has been dropping, guys, the Bitcoin difficulty is going to drop down. November 16. Okay, so we are due for that difficulty to adjust. So it should be every 14 days. So on around the 30th of November. Okay. So I would have said it's another week away, as I thought, another few days away before the difficulty adjusts, but it is going to adjust downwards. And we reach an equilibrium, and then maybe some more miners come online. They're profitable to mine again at the slightly lower difficulty level. And as you've heard me say, the price and mining difficulty isn't a bottom. The price to mine Bitcoin isn't a bottom. It can continue to go as low as it wants, guys. The Bitcoin difficulty will adjust, whether Bitcoin is $2, $200, or $20,000. There's a point that it adjusts to form an equilibrium. Apparently, a few people didn't like that comment. Unfortunately, that's the reality of the algorithm. 7 thumbs down. $100 people in the Cairns crypto community. Awesome. Yep, we want to go up there. Bitcoin ABC hash rate has plummeted 50%. Let's have a look. So okay, so the yellow there is Bitcoin ABC hash rate. And now that so there's a couple of things that have happened since we've spoken about this a lot. Yesterday Craig Wright and Calvin Ayre came out and said that we basically we're over this war. We don't want the Bitcoin Cash name because we don't believe we are Bitcoin Cash. We believe we're Bitcoin. So they basically said, look, Bitcoin ABC, you can have the Bitcoin Cash name. And so now they don't really have to have this hash war. So they're dropping off, and their difficulty will adjust and readjust. Now, Bitcoin, Satoshi's Vision is going to have that name. Bitcoin ABC is going to go back to the Bitcoin Cash name. Probably see exchanges make announcements about all this week. And amongst all this, Bitcoin has just continued to be Bitcoin and do its thing. As I said, this is all short-term noise. I think I literally said in a week's time the market will have forgotten about this and moved on, and yet there's just so much fear and panic. I should interview Francis Hunt, the crypto sniper. Yeah, I do like checking out his videos from time to time. I'd very much be up for that. Guys, if you've got contacts to these interesting people, I really want to interview Jed McCaleb from Stellar, but these people can be really hard to get hold of. So if you've got the contacts, yeah, for sure, reach out to us or reach out to Ben and the Nuggets News Twitter or our website contact page and let us know that, hey, I know this person. I'd love to see you interview them. We love having good people on the show. In the January 15 in the bottom, it wasn't a classic V-shaped recovery. So let's go and check that out. So in this bear market here, up to $1,200, down to $166, and it wasn't a really aggressive V-shaped recovery, But if we zoom in a little bit more there, oh, I'm gonna have to go right back here, aren't I? Okay, there's my yellow dot. Okay, so in terms of a daily chart, I mean, we still did have an incredible capitulation, and I remember watching this unfold. You know, look at that. For after going sideways for 2 years, we had a 37% down day, which is similar to the week we're having at the moment. You know, 37% down where you've already been mentally beaten up for 2 years, and then there's 37% in one day. That was gut wrenching, but you know, look at that candle and the bounce, you know, from the bottom back to the top, and 37% on the way down equals, you know, 58% on the way back up, because of, you know, this is the most powerful thing with mathematics and what traders don't understand. And if you lose 50%, you've got to make 100%. But if you can get filled somewhere near the bottom, you can make a lot of money in percentage terms on the way back up. So yeah, let's see what that looked like on the 4 hour. This isn't really helping me today live, is it, guys? Let's just zoom back. Is that going to load? It doesn't like the 4 hour. Why is that not loading? That'd be right. So we can't see what that looks like on that time frame, but nonetheless, guys, it was a very powerful, swift recovery. Not necessarily V. It doesn't have to be exactly V-shaped, but if you have that capitulation, you're going to get buyers stepping in. See, this is when we sort of know we're close, when people are saying things like, I hope it goes to 3,000. I hope I get to buy it there. I hope I get to buy altcoins cheap at those levels. And when everyone actually wants something to happen, that's when it tends to not happen. So yeah, maybe it does, and there's a large percentage of people that get liquidated, capitulated, and throw in the towel. So you know, you're a keen bean if you've been waiting this long and patient down to 3,000. But yeah, can't hear anything. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on Extreme. Mic is too low. I did have it turned down a little bit with the renovation. So is that a little bit better, guys? Are you looking for the same level to happen with more sell volume and buy volume straight after? I mean, ideally, the more we go down, the more we rip the band-aid off. And if we have a flush to 3,500 and we get a V-shaped recovery, that dramatically increases the chances that the bottom is in. Because at the moment, we're just seeing, we're just not getting that convincing, V-shaped recovery. We're just hitting these averages and rolling over each time, guys. It's just not convincing anyone. So we need to get through, the 20 and the 50 period moving average. Mic is fine. That's a little bit better. Alt G on TradingView changes to the time frame I want. Okay, let's give that a go. Let's go back and have a look at if we did get a V-shaped recovery. Okay, so zoom in. Oh, okay, I'm with you now. Okay, cool. So, no, I don't want that. So if I go to the 11th of November, what day was this capitulation? So it was the 18th of August 2015. So let's go on the hourly chart and go 18th of August 2015. I was just going to want the date first. 18th. Oh, wait. No. Oh, wait. 18. No, it doesn't have hourly data back that far. Okay, we can do that on Bitstamp. Thanks for that. If this works, no, I don't know. I'm not sure why that's not working, but thanks for that shortcut. That is good to know. You guys are teaching me. I love it. The same people that say they can't wait to buy at 3,000, once we get there, they'll say it's going to 2,000. That's what makes a market. There's always a buyer and a seller. Yeah, someone's saying thanks that the chart guys and I keep making content. I've tried to make 5, if not 6 videos a week for you guys during the bear market and focus on the fundamentals and education and what's actually happening. And I mean, it even disappoints me somewhat that some of the big YouTubers that I used to like following their content, some of them aren't even doing 1 video a week anymore in the bear market. Yeah, will they come back out of the woodwork and start making videos when the bull market resumes? I'm not sure, but yeah, it's disappointing because if you're a big follower of their channel and they've got 50 or 100,000 subscribers and they stop making videos, does that make their subscribers think that crypto's dead and that they were just leading them down the garden path, leading them astray? I'm not sure. So the chart guys have passed 100,000 subscribers, so man, absolutely love them. They deserve that. I'm sorry, Nutshot. If you want to use the hashtag Nuggets News on Twitter and in the comments or whatever, and then let me know you've done that, I'll go check out that tweet. Okay, here we go, guys. We're through the moving averages. The buyers stepping in. I want more volume. I want more volume coming in to convince me. At the moment, though, this is looking pretty positive. There's 40 seconds left in this bar. We're going to have decent volume. It would be awesome. We've been on streaming for nearly an hour. It would be awesome if we got to see the bottom come in together. Come on, Bulls. Get those orders in. Back above 4,000. So 4,000, we're probably going to see this little pause here. It can act as resistance, these round psychological numbers. But no, if we're going to blast through it, that's even better. And then we've got the next level we're looking at is, where we had a few sort of tests here. And that's going to be right where the moving average is. So our next test is probably just to have a couple of minutes here where the candles pull back and get their breath before they can try and burst through that. That would be what we want to see unfold now. My IOTA trade's going all right, is it? IOTA, so my average price is 28 cents. And IOTA's already through its 200 average. Okay, that's good. That's good. Let's wait and see if it does get a pullback, though. I've got a decent sized position, but I actually wanted to double the position of that if this is the bottom that we've been waiting for. So I am logged into Bitfinex. I didn't want to trade BitMEX unless we got down to 3,000. If we got down to 3,000 and I was 95% convinced that that was the bottom and the downside's very limited compared to the upside, risk to reward, that's when I'm more likely to trade on 50 or maybe have a little dabble with a 100x leverage trade. But when you're really certain of the direction and you're pretty certain it can't continue to go against you. BitMEX is probably going to be your best, well, a better friend to yours in a bull market. There are too many people getting carried away when the market's been in no man's land and, sideways, and then we have a big leg down and then sideways again, and people are trying to jump in at the wrong time. But if you've been using that to make money shorting and you're an experienced trader, thank you. Okay, so yeah, I'm on the 1 minute chart. This is this pullback that we kind of want to see now. Let's work our way through. Some okay volume on the 5 minute. 15 minute. We didn't really have any big wicks there. Just more of rounded. The hourly. We've still got 40 minutes left in this candle, but it's not going to be, chances are it's not going to be the bottom unless we get volume equal to the volume that brought us down to these levels. We after such a brutal bear market and brutal week, we need the bears to arm wrestle and show these. Need the bulls to arm wrestle the bears and show them that they mean business. That hey, the buyers are starting to step in. 4 hour. Hey, this looks pretty good. A nice wick there. Some big volume forming. 39 minutes left in this candle. So if this is the bottom, we could see this volume bar surpass these here, which would be really positive. And in terms of just, where have we been this year and the volume on Bitfinex? I mean, look how much bigger this is than we spoke about. You can draw this a number of ways. It probably shows up best on the weekly, to be honest. Just this declining volume that we just witnessed. Draw that whatever way you want, guys. But the volume across all exchanges just continued to decline. And here we are with the clear breakout. So all these things are saying that the bottom is either very, very close or near. And I know I've said that a lot, guys, but yeah, I certainly thought that for altcoins and for Bitcoin, unless we had some really bad fundamental news, that we were probably going to hold up a lot better. And unfortunately, whether it was the SEC news, I really think the market got so scared by that Bitcoin Cash news. And those tweets saying that Bitcoin was going to die and that altcoins were going to be attacked by shark pool and kill off everything else. I really think I was getting so many questions from newbies about that. I really think that did scare the market. So some people say news doesn't move markets. Some people say it was all going to happen in the TA. Everyone's got their method. That's fine. How do you do a 100x leverage trade? You can learn how to do that with a practice account on BitMEX. Please don't trade real money until you have been trading for 6 months or a year and you know what you're doing and you have a plan. And at least do some, some courses. There's free courses out there. We recommend the Chart Guys and Trader Cobb. We've got discounts in the description, guys, if you want to learn to trade. But please don't trade until you know what you're doing. It's the fastest way to lose money and to give your money to a trader that does know what they're doing. Okay. So this is really important here. I'm just going to see if I can find this tweet. Did you use the hashtag Nuggets News? Because if you just tag me or Nuggets News, I don't get a notification. This is what we want, a little cool off, and then let's burst through that level. And we are on a short time frame, guys, but this sort of formation that we want to see, a little pullback here with declining volume, a little bull flag, and then a big burst up there would be what we ideally want to see here. TA and news often coincide. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Tether FUD on certain dates. Yeah, absolutely. So Nutshot, the only way I can find that tweet, unfortunately, is if you just use hashtag Nuggets News, and then I can search for that hashtag. Because Ben, who's in charge of social media, he uses the Nuggets News Twitter, and I don't get notifications. You don't like to have your Bollinger Bands in play, Nugs. There's that much going on my charts, and I honestly don't want to confuse newcomers. So I can add these on. I do like Bollinger Bands. They're useful. Just like moving averages, when we get down here outside the bands, they tend to go back in at least to cool off before the next period down and so on. But I just don't want to confuse newcomers with how much I've got going on my charts, because it's not that important in the scheme of things. I just want to know what others are looking at. Let's go to the daily chart. Extended outside the Bollinger Bands again, but I tend to turn off a lot of these indicators just to quieten the charts down, because they're confusing enough as it is, and I'm not putting that much weight in them anyway. Okay, so on the 5-minute chart, this an ideal pattern, is just a little anything here, whether it's whether it's a pennant or a bull flag, anything that just consolidates here on lowish volume compared to the bulls that have been showing up, increases the chances that we can break up. And then we've zoomed out on that 1 minute where we've just been hitting the averages and rejecting, and then it's the same thing on the 5-minute. We'll have to hit these averages, pull back and see if they reject hard and continue their rejection down lower each time, or if we can actually break through them. But guys, that's been in an hour now. I'm going to go have some breakfast, I think. So hopefully you guys know what we're looking for signs at the bottom. Volume, the moving averages, all that stuff we've been talking about. This has been a long one of the longest we've done in a while. And I'll continue to check in, and for members, if we get another leg down, I'll jump on and do a live stream for members in our group. And if you want to join that, guys, you can always just head over to nuggetsnews.com.au, where we post our articles and written content, and you can join our community there. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I have really enjoyed that. I hope you have too. Let's see what Bitcoin does on these Sundays that tend to be great fun for trading and a bit of action. So we'll talk again soon. Cheers.